Hey, welcome back, everybody. We are here with the Honda Fan Cup. I'm MagickMoonShot, and welcoming to the broadcast, at least for today, but a familiar face is Mr. Big Deal himself. Why not? How are you doing today, and are you ready to watch some 1v1s?
I'm feeling good. I haven't got the chance to cast Halo since Worlds, and it's really exciting to be here, and it's really exciting to cast some 1v1 action qualifying for a $20,000 tournament. I guess my next car is going to be a Honda if they're supporting Halo like this.
Hey, you gotta love it, and we're wasting no time to dive into that first match. So this is the winners finals. We saw the semis with Gilkey getting that win over Boo Boo Doo Boo, and then Mortally just fresh off of a victory over Coach Cobb. And so now we're here in another best of 3 series starting off on Aquarius.
You're really excited. I mean, Mortally's definitely one of those players that comes from that Halo 5 generation. He's going to be really fast, really in your face, try to take advantage of that advanced movement. Then you have Gilkey, who's a very good back player, so I'd imagine his gameplay being somewhat similar to Neighbor, but maybe pushing forward most of the time. But still, a slow and steady wins the race. You know, feed, plant to make sure that reticle is ready, so he hits those first shots like you're seeing right here on Mortally. Now forced to back down, playing his life over toward the bottom mid. The finish not coming in finally. Gilkey able to take down Mortally, but that was quite dangerous. Right to the thrust he goes.
And this is what happened with Gilkey on Aquarius in the semifinals. He had amazing control of 2 things, the commando and the thruster, and pretty much prioritizing both of those. At one point in the semifinals Aquarius game, he was just out of rotation, picking up yellow thrusters, picking up blue thruster, back and forth, and monopolizing it. Right now, the commando shots raining down with that final bullet in the mag. He lands the kill, and it has a tied up this game.
Yeah, when it comes to 1v1s, I think your 2 major win factors, if you will, are going to be information and resources. So, you know, you're playing slow and steady, usually, unless you're Mortally, and you're trying to get as much information as possible before you overcommit, and then you're controlling every resource on the map, like the thrust, like the commando, put it to work almost immediately as Mortally ends up being taken down. Gilkey takes a 1-kill lead, and again, notice how he has that commando in the back pocket, like you said, and 2 thrusters to work with Mortally right off the spawn.
And right now, my notepad, info and resources, what you need to win these fights, and maybe a little bit of the aim laser as well, just the pure gun play coming in, and Gilkey right there, just a nice showing of that commando mastery. And now off of the respawn, he has Mortally pinned back at the refrigerator spawn.
You know, when I think of this commando in the hands of someone like myself, or anybody who's like Onyx 1500 or lower, it's a good weapon, but it's not an elite weapon. When you put it in the hands of a player like Gilkey, you're seeing why this weapon is so dangerous. After that buff, Mortally able to get the big kill, putting him up 1. So far, these 2 going back and forward right now. Mortally now looking for the spawners, but that commando in the right hands is absolutely elite, and most players at the pro level are able to get max value out of it. That's including Gilkey and Mortally, of course.
Well, Gilkey did it in the semifinals, and he's showing us as well here in the winners finals what that commando can do. He's putting it to work. He has that 1-point lead, and even off of that death on the respawn, he has the commando back in hands. Now, Mortally, a little deceptive, has a commando with 1 bullet, so I don't know if I'd even count that in this scenario, but here comes the rain down of the fire, and Gilkey is predicting that rotation through top utility, tosses a preventive frag grenade there, but Mortally is kind of ducking out of the way of that incoming frag grenades, and now here comes the fight. Thrusters in play, and Mortally with that aggressive advantage. He loves pushing those fights, and he cleans up that kill.
We talked about how important that commando and that thrust is, but I almost wish we could see how much they're using that AI scan, because also replenishing those grenades are going to be so critical to your win. Again, like I said, information and resource, and that includes those grenades, forcing your opponent out of a terrible situation, force them into a sight line that you wanted to, or just finishing that pesky 1-shot kill can be absolutely the major difference between you getting that kill, getting momentum, and swinging it into your favor, or ultimately you maybe losing the game. Mortally trying to keep that high ground. Nades are starting to rain down. Gilkey's gonna get some high ground of his own, down to 1 shot. Mortally now gonna try to get over towards the fridge side like that leftover turkey. Will he be taken out?
Yeah, he's sitting back there with the cranberry sauce, the leftover turkey, maybe some mashed potatoes, gravy. But the one that's delivering the gravy on top is Gilkey. He gets that clean up kill. He cleans out the refrigerator of any leftovers that are sitting there from Thanksgiving.
Gilkey reminds me of a good gravy. Just complements any meal. Like a good Gilkey or gravy can just turn some average or ordinary meal and just turn it absolutely out. Your dry turkey has been sitting in the Sahara Desert for 3 days. Put some good gravy on it. That mashed potatoes, thick and lumpy. Put some good gravy. Gilkey is like a good gravy tied up in 5 apiece right now.
Quick question for you on that, Tony, and then we'll leave the gravy train. But what percentage of your Thanksgiving plate gets covered with gravy?
All of it. All of it. The apple pie, the cranberry sauce. Like, I'm making a sandwich. I'm making a Thanksgiving sandwich. That's Gilkey. Oh, both players down to one shot, playing a little bit of SWAT right now. Mortally trying to play his life down with the thrust, and Gilkey almost recharges shields. Mortally ends up putting him down. And as he said before, I don't mean to shoot bodies, but he's shooting through walls.
Yeah, he definitely didn't mean to shoot the body there off of that kill as he gets the 6-5 lead, and he traps that spawn again back in the fridge. And Gilkey looks like a little misstep there, does pick up the blue gun, but it's not gonna be enough. Mortally pushes that advantage to increase his lead, grabs a couple of fresh thrusters on his way.
Like a great stale baguette, Mortally soaking up all of that gravy. Putting him down immediately. Mortally up by 2 kills at the moment, right up to that high ground. Oh, so important. Pulls carbine in the back pocket. Gilkey forced back over toward the yellow side. Nowhere to go. We're going to find out what he's really made of because he's fighting with his back against the wall at the moment.
Back is against the wall, and Mortally has every advantage, it would look like, trying to melt the shield with the use of that carbine. Gets a few shots out, dodging the frag grenade. In the process, has to leave that high ground position. Doesn't have any nades of his own to work with, and it's going to be on a little bit of a circuit. He might go and swap out for that commando, though, as he is rotating to the back of blue base. But instead, doubling back, looks for Gilkey at the top on the plasma, spawns, gets out some damage back and forth, using the thruster this time to make a quick escape.
Down to one shot he goes. Gilkey not gonna allow it to escape. The thrust might give him that advantage, but Gilkey having one of his own hits him with the fadeaway shot, and finally Gilkey able to end Mortally's reign of terror. Big kill, giving Gilkey the lead once again, drowning Mortally like a fine gravy. I'm gonna stop using this gravy reference at some point.
I don't think you should. No, like I said, keep the gravy train flowing right here. Let's go. The plasma grenades go out. Gilkey gets some damage on Mortally. He thinks it's enough to give him the advantage on this push. Does look like dynamos are not in play. Mortally, how does he live long enough to win that fight? He takes down the kill, increases his lead to 2.
And right to the thruster he goes. Thruster, high ground, looking for that information with the nades coming out from Gilkey. Not only not having nades to work with anymore, but also letting you know exactly where that location is for Mortally to get a bit aggressive. 4 minutes on the clock, and Gilkey seems to be getting a bit antsy here. Mortally trying to play his life. He might be antsy, but he's hitting his shots, and that's what matters. Gilkey taking down Mortally once again. Mortally now has to come off a spawn.
God, you know what makes a good gravy though, Tony? It's the combination, right? You got to have the beef broth in there. You know, if it's a brown gravy we're talking about, you got to get the flour to get it nice and thick. But then you gotta get some milk, right? You got to milk it. You got to milk your life in this game, and you need some good milk to get the right gravy consistency.
All gravy here. Gilkey hold on to the car, so to the P side of the map. Mortally might have found an exit that Gilkey's not aware of. The first couple shots going in favor of Mortally. Mortally gonna try to take advantage of the one-shot player. Gilkey immediately dropping down, not able to play his life back and forth like an argument or like a gravy boat here as Mortally up 2 kills, 3 minutes on the clock.
Mortally sees that frag grenade. He stays out of the range of damage, but happy to burn the grenades out of Gilkey's hands. holding on to the high ground. I don't even know where Gilkey is. Oh, he's directly below. There he is. They both catch sight of each other, trading out some damage across, and now Gilkey with the sidekick in hand from that low ground position takes down the kill. Quickly swaps out the sidekick for the commando, but a great use of the sandbox.
Trading out the sidekick for a main character does Gilkey. Back to the high ground. Both Morley and Gilkey go. Morley right to the top mid, taking that top mid control like a chess player, now pushing up, but it's not gonna matter. Gilkey still absolutely clutching it out right there, tying us once again in 9 apiece. These two players evenly matched when it comes to 1v1s.
What a winner's final we have in front of us, going neck and neck and tying up the game here with just 2 minutes left to play. Wondering if we'll hit that 15-point mark or if the time will run out first. Mortally's definitely pushing for that 15 points as he secures another kill, and now he's looking to check for those thruster spawns. He sees that blue has plenty of time before it respawns, and now it shifts his attention back to yellow base where he finds Gilkey off of that respawn.
Really making sure that he controls that top mid portion. He always wants to be in a position where he can capitalize on that damage. You crack Gilkey 1 or 2 times and you push forward, limit his options. But the problem is, when you're top mid, just like you can see your opponent can see you, and now Gilkey pushing him back and doing the same to Morley, what Morley was trying to do to him. Down to get that thruster. Looks like he's trying to go. Actually, thruster not up just yet. Gilkey has to take this 1v1 with limited resources. Morley might have heard him over towards the car side. This can be a defining kill with just a minute on the clock, and Gilkey has no height advantage, has no resources, no maidens, no shot, no chances. Morley gets himself a perfect kill with the commando up to less than a minute on the clock. This is Morley's game to lose.
You see him burn that thruster as he refills them on the blue side. Mortally now with a 2-point lead and just 50 seconds remaining. Gilkey has climbed to the high ground, and Mortally maybe took some notes from Coach Cobb in the last matchup, playing a little bit more patient, playing a little bit stealthy. I'm not sure if he's actively crouching right now, but at least staying hidden because the clock is working in his favor. He's not pushing for that 15-point mark. Instead, he's watching the clock do the work. Now here comes the engagement. Gilkey with a thrust, and then the counter thrust as well. Gilkey does land the kill, turning it into just a 1-point game.
8 seconds off of respawn, 20 seconds on the clock. Gilkey still have an opportunity to find Mortally. He already knows he spawns over toward the bridge side. Mortally expecting goes in for the challenge. That's gonna be tied up and lucky 11 apiece with 11 seconds left. We're gonna be seeing it overtime there. Gilkey trusting his instincts, trusting that spawn knowledge, and making Mortally pay for going down.
And there's the overtime, 3 minutes added to the clock, but again, they're playing to 15. Both of them just 4 away as that huge tie game comes through from Gilkey. Mortally playing to time ended up working against him as he's more accustomed to an aggressive play style. I think that changing out of his preferred play style really came back to hurt him in the end. And now Mortally on the high ground, Gilkey with the commando in hand, but Mortally gets the first overtime kill.
And one thing I gotta give a shout out to Mortally, the fact that he's icing up against a pro player like Gilkey, one who's absolutely insane at winning his 1v1 gunfights, and it's not affecting him. I mean, the man just got a huge kill in overtime right now. You're 3 kills away from taking the game. You've been keeping it close where multiple times where Gilkey goes on these runs, other players would crumble under that pressure. So definitely want to give Mortally his shine right now, but the question is, can you take him down here in game number 1? I believe it's just the best of 3 series, so this game is so important. Gilkey once again taking control of the top mid, Mortally winning the health battle, gonna afford him the opportunity to now push forward. Gilkey anticipating that, going right in with the commando, right up to the mid, runs out of ammo at the worst time possible. Mortally gets himself another kill, 2 kills in favor of Mortally, 1 minute 43 seconds on the clock, which will become a factor now.
What a huge win there from Mortally, and you're correct that this is a best of 3. We're going to be playing on all 3 maps that have been in the rotation, assuming we see that game 3. But right now, it's all about Mortally. This is his overtime game. Just 1 kill away from hitting that 15-point mark, or do we see Gilkey with the ultimate comeback? His back's against the wall.
We call him Mortally, but his friends call him more to block. And right now he is blocking Gilkey away from this game 1 win at the moment here. Gilkey taking height immediately. Mortally understanding that now he's going to put Gilkey between the scoreboard and the timer. 8 seconds off of respawn. 1 minute on the clock. If Morley can do a great job at just eating away at this time, but he can make it mathematically impossible for Gilkey to win. Gilkey's on the hunt, checking every quarter, just a step behind here. Doesn't have the oil lines like we do. Gilkey not getting first shot. Mortally does. Gilkey has to force the action. He has to do something, and he has to get a win in game number 2. Otherwise, his tournament life is over here. Mortally takes game 1.
What an exciting game 1. It was tied up at 9-9 and then 11 all as the clock ran out, taking us into overtime for the first time that we've seen here on the broadcast. But credit to Mortally, off of that overtime, scored 4 straight slays, gave nothing to Gilkey in that overtime.
You better respect this commando. We call him Morta Glock in these streets, as he gets himself some huge kills with it, also combining with the thruster, combined now with 51.14% accuracy. Does Mortally less shots fired than Gilkey, less shots fired but more shots hit, and that's what matters, as Mortally taking that oh so important game number 1. And by the way, we're in the winners finals right now, right?
Yeah,
At this point, it's top 2 qualify to play in that $20,000 tournament on January 7th. $20,000 on the line. So the winner of this, guaranteed the top 2 placing no matter what, guaranteed to be qualified through the winners bracket. They have to wait for the elimination bracket to go forward. So the loser have to win at least 1 more series before they qualify. Lots of implications on the line here for this one matchup. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, and that finale absolutely is where the attention is. That's January 7th. Put it on your calendar, because that's where $16,000 is going to be won. There is $1,000 in play for each of these qualifiers going to the top 8. So placement does mean something in terms of cashing out today, but I think you're absolutely right. It comes down to getting into that big tournament on January 7th, and the winner of this matchup will secure that spot. So this is a pretty huge matchup. It is going to be that best of 3. Here's some of the highlights from the game, and I think it was commando thruster, and there's nothing wrong with that.
If you guys want to get involved with this, again, like you said, $20,000 online, make sure you type in !registered in the chat right now, because, I mean, hey, who knows? You come in, get yourself some valuable experience playing against some of the professional players, some of the best players in the league, like Boo Boo Doobles, the Gilkeys, the Straight Six. And who knows, if your 1v1 skills are up to par, you can get a piece of that $20,000 prize pool and really make a name for yourself. I mean, just imagine a no-name like me coming out with a big win and qualify. That opens doors right there. You start getting invited to some of the Pro 8s lobbies, maybe get yourself a contract. I hear C9 are looking for some players right now. Gilkey now looking for some head. As Mortally ends up going down, that sniper rifle really going to change the pace here on live fire.
Absolutely get involved. It's the next 3 Sundays will be the qualifier. So December 4th, 11th, and 18th, same place, same time. Get qualified, get your shot at the finals. And everybody, you know, say a big thank you right now to Tony for not competing, because then, I mean, I think that nobody else would want to sign up. If they saw Tony's name on the list, they'd be like, yeah, it's a done deal for me. I'm not in it. So he's really doing you a favor by being here on the casting side, so that it gives you all opportunity to compete for those 2 spots.
Yeah, I cut through gravy like a warm knife, bro. I'm not affected. And neither is Mortally. Able to repulse Gilkey back despite getting hit with that sniper, down to 1 shot. Now repulsing back over toward the A side. Gilkey, notice how the moment he gets that audio cue, snaps over, thinking Mortally takes height, but using audio, again, knowledge is power when it comes to 1v1s. Using that audio to get as much information as possible to decide your next move. And now Gilkey trying to get more information, shoots him right in the left butt cheek. Mortally down to 1 shot. Gilkey trying to close the distance. Mortally immediately taking height, and both players gonna reset momentarily.
Knowledge is power, but so is the sniper. Unfortunately, Gilkey is not able to connect on the shots. He has 1 bullet left in the chamber, lines it up, isn't able to connect, so he swaps right over to the commando as the backup plan here. Still raining down fire onto Mortally, who is kind of trapped here at the bottom of C. No grenades, though, for Gilkey to try to clean up the rest of that kill, and they're kind of playing a little bit of a game of chicken, both of them not wanting to be the first one to peek.
I hate to sound like a nerd, but I love how smooth Gilkey was with that. Understanding his positioning, understanding how much ammo left in the sniper. The moment he ran out, it was like it was like almost like a one motion move to pick up that commando immediately and get right into work. It's so fluid and it's so perfect to watch it. Maybe at a small level, you don't even notice anything like that as Morley gets himself his first kill on the board, down by 1. But I just think it's so smooth, and that split second timing that somebody would have lost for looking at the commando and picking it up probably would have cost them that kill. Doesn't cost Gilkey whatsoever. So I thought it was great, smooth, like a fine gravy on Thanksgiving dinner.
I knew you were gonna find a way. I knew you'd find a way, Tony, and I respect it. Great little weapon swap fluidity coming out there from Gilkey. He does have that 2-1 lead, but I'm telling you, if Mortally gets the sniper in his hands, he is gonna go to work, and the timing on this kill could not be any better. Ties up the game just as that fresh sniper spawns in.
He's mortar locked in right now, and now has 8 bullets of pure passion here in the sniper rifle, looking to plant one in the head. Gilkey, be careful, you might lose it. The body shot comes in. Gilkey down to 1 shot, gonna try to retreat over toward the bottom mid. Morley trying to cut off the angles, doesn't want to overcommit to that, tied up at 2 apiece. This next kill can be critical, and Morley doesn't want to waste any ammo, especially in that sniper rifle. Load it up, baby, line it up. They got some heads to take.
Oh, I think he hit the body shot on that second shot, if I'm not mistaken. Might be coming back to re-engage. Reloads the sniper, and there it is. There's taking the head. That's the play you were looking for. That's what we're talking about. We've seen it from Mortally. This is the 3rd time we've watched him on live fire, and every time he does not disappoint with those sniper headshots.
Gilkey recently caught scrimming with multiple teams right now. I mean, he's of G2, but we've seen him scrimming with Complexity. We've seen him scrimming with Oxygen Esports. So maybe look at his options, or just filling in because he just wants to play a bunch of Halo as of right now. The passion's high. Wants to make sure he's warm, make sure he's ready for season 2, playing in tournaments like this. Gilkey putting in that work. Mortally trying to do the same with the sniper rifle, wasting the bullets. But the best, they say a good offense is better than a great defense, so waste 1 on his head, Mortally. Waste that final bullet right on the head of Gilkey. That's what you want to do. As the body shot comes in, not quite the head, but gonna be good enough to back Gilkey down. Almost able to drop down and get the headshot. Both players reset once again. This 1v1 is gonna take a nade, not gonna connect on the remote detonation. Morley immediately taking height, drops right down on Gilkey, repulses him back. The 1-shot Gilkey goes for the ninja. Mortally gonna anticipate that one, and because of that, gets himself a 2-kill lead.
Mortally might have been in danger with the ammo situation, but the equipment coming in for that play gets some shakes Gilkey off of his footing with the use of the first repulsor. Gilkey goes for the ninja and not connecting because Mortally hits that melee, and now he has the top C held down. He also has a 4-2 lead, which might not seem like much, but we saw overtime in game number 1, so a 2-point lead looking pretty good right now for Mortally as he tries to escape out of the path of those frag grenades and look for his next opportunity. No power weapons in play right now. We do see Gilkey tosses the frag, lines up the BR shots. Mortally still has repulsor to work with, might send him off the map, but at least down into the mud for a reset.
What?
Oh,
And
no.
despite the reset, somehow Gilkey still able to find the headshot on that one, sending Mortally back, still having a 1-kill lead, but Gilkey now having momentum and now having first access towards a sniper rifle. Mortally right off his spawn goes to cut off that angle, but Gilkey simply wins those. We are tied up at 4 apiece. We have 4 ammo in the clip right now for the sniper, 4 in reserve. 4 is the magic number, and Mortally gonna hand Gilkey the 4.
Wow. You know, things that Mortally and I have in common, it might be a short list, but both of us not predicting Gilkey to re-challenge from that low ground position might be the only thing we have in common right now. And, you know, Gilkey caught us both by surprise, and he had the sniper for a moment, but Mortally will fight for it. He wins the sniper, and there's the headshot, the quick scope for the takedown.
Mortally getting things done here. Beautiful shot with that sniper rifle. Normally the IG of the team, normally manning the troops of any team that he's on, but also showing not only does he have the brain, but he has the thumbs as well, as he takes down Gilkey. Once again, a 3-kill lead, 5 minutes on the clock. Plenty of time for Gilkey theoretically to come back in this game, but Mortally eventually has to realize that that time is dwindling down, and at some point it's going to become a factor in this game.
Mortally, more like momentally, because he's got all the momentum on his side right now.
Bars.
If he can stay alive with the rest of this sniper to work with, I mean, those back-to-back kills really setting the pace, as well as equipment, as well as sniper, most notably. If he can get sights on Gilkey, he finds him at top mid. Now Gilkey rotating over to C box, maybe anticipating that reload coming through. Gilkey just hanging out on the frag grenades here, but there's the body shot coming through. Mortally drops down, cleans up the kill, and now has doubled the score of Gilkey.
One of the rising stars in season 1 of HCS and destined for greatness. We've seen him running with some of the best in the business. We've seen him in tournaments with the likes of Spartan and Barcode. We've seen him running with Fnatic. We've seen him have an incredible season 1 in HCS, and it's continuing here with season 2. 5-kill lead in favor of Mortally right now, still having that commando, still having that repulsor, and still having the lead over Gilkey, which is oh so important. 1 game away from advancing forward to that $20,000 tournament. Again, we talked about the implications earlier. We talked about how important this matchup is, and clearly Mortally is aware of it.
Mortally is just using this tower, kind of ducking and diving just out of range for the repulsor to make an impact there. And now that leaves Gilkey on the chase. There's the remote detonation. We didn't get to see it earlier on, but Gilkey connects, gets the takedown. Might have been too early to secure the sniper, but he's going to move into position, ready to defend that spawn. It's coming up in just 5 seconds, and that could be the deciding factor of this game.
It feels so easy to influence those back A spawns, whether it's 4v4s or 1v1s. Gilkey able to do it, and because of that earns himself a big kill, and now gonna earn himself a sniper rifle with 3 minutes left here. This sniper rifle going to be oh so important for Gilkey to come back in this game, and ultimately this series 1 game away from being knocked down into that elimination bracket, which right now is getting crazy. We saw the likes of Stray Sick, Crouch Cobb earlier getting knocked down there as well. The last thing you want to do is having to win another series in order to stamp your ticket into that $20,000 tournament. Mortally sitting over toward the assault rifle spawn, nades starting to fly. Gilkey forced to take another angle, but this another angle is going to waste 8 to 10 seconds off the clock, which is oh so important.
Yeah, time is working for Mortally right now, but Gilkey is really doing well at tracking. He's using every clue he has. He does end up hitting that body shot, but it's not enough. Even off of being repulsed after being hit in the body by a sniper, Mortally somehow finds his way to win back that fight. And I have to tell you, Tony, I think that's it. I think that's the kill that seals the deal. It's definitely not over in terms of time, but as far as that momentum, Mortally has everything working for him.
Well, the good thing for Gilkey is Gilkey has a really interesting play style where he's able to be as aggressive as possible and push forward while also keeping his feet planted. So he always has his reticle ready, always able to gather information and hit shots when it matters most. The problem is that Mortally doesn't give a freaking damn. 11-6 lead. Mortally putting Gilkey in a body bag right there with 1 minute and 22 seconds on the clock. You said it might have been over earlier, and clearly you know what you're talking about, because
Sometimes.
I'm gonna have to agree with you.
Well, Gilkey could still pull off the miracle comeback, and credit to him for not giving up this fight easily. But another body shot, another BR cleanup, and that's gonna be it. The GGs comes through, and that is the winners finals. A nice win from Mortally. His snipes have been unmatched here in the games today.
He didn't mean to shoot bodies, but he had to. Didn't mean to win that game, but he had to, as well as Mortally is now moving forward to play for that $20,000 provided by Honda and Game Pass. So important here. Is your watch party with Louis V Titan. And man, it's been an exciting 1v1 tournament so far. We now have our first player that has stamped their ticket to competing for one of the biggest prize pools so far leading into season 2 right now here in an online tournament. One of the biggest prizes I've seen in a 1v1. Why don't we take a look at the stats right now? Magic, what are these stats telling you from that game number 2?
I mean, they're gonna tell me that it was a hard-fought victory, but that Mortally was dominant, and especially when it came down to the sniper plays, because he actually hit fewer shots, but the amount of damage that the sniper deals out, you don't have to hit very many shots if you hit one snipe to the head in order to take that win. So a great effort there from Gilkey. He worked hard to get his spot here in the winners finals, but Mortally on live fire is almost untouchable.
Yeah, Gilkey, one of the members of G2, one of the best slayers that we have in our league. And you saw there was moments where Gilkey absolutely dominated Mortally and winning those critical 1v1s. But man, Mortally just such a dynamic player on top of being a phenomenal IGL. There's so much value that he adds to a team that I feel like he's gonna be one of those players that gets picked up in season 2, and people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, how is he on this roster? But if you're watching these 1v1 tournaments, if you're listening to the communication and all the value that he brings to the team, you will understand that Mortally will add value to almost any roster in this league. Watch out for this young man going into season 2. Again, he is destined for greatness.
Definitely a name that we're going to be seeing more of going forward, including on the finale on January 7th, as Mortally secures his spot as the first player locked in for that finale and that $16,000 prize pool. We're going to go to a quick break. We'll be coming back because we still have lower bracket action leading us up into the grand finals. Don't go away.